Alrighty, folks. Well, how are we this evening? Well, what can I say? We got some famous catchphrases to go off on. Yeah, so what can we say? We got some, lots of phrases like, "Good God Almighty, it killed him!" And, "My God, what a chair shot!" "This place is going bananas!" Yeah, there's old school for you. Let's see here. What else is there? Let's see here. Yeah, what else? I mean, there's a lot. I mean, obviously, a lot of them are great, but oh my goodness, look at this, and wait a minute, apparently he's not through with them yet. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, so we've got here on the media files several WWE/WWF DVDs. Yeah, this is totally cool. What can we say? Thank you, Goodwill, for having these over the last several months. And I've just been kind of waiting to do this video. And also, this is a shout out to my nephews, which names I will not mention, but you know who you are. Considering the fact that, cool uncle here got you hooked into professional wrestling. What can we say? You know what? Every parental figure, father figure, uncle, and, mom, whoever either works in the wrestling industry or has watched it when they were kids, you know what? They pass it down to the next generation. And it's still going strong today. So, what did we get? Well, we got at least 10. Yes, make that 10 DVD sets to go through. Now, I want to make a small disclaimer here. So, before we roll the credits here, I will not read everything. I will not read every single description because I want to go through every single set individually because there is so much information on here. And if I do all 10 of them, this video will probably be at least 2, maybe 2.5 hours long. Yeah, there's that much stuff. Because some of it I can't figure out what it is because of the way that the discs are set up. Or the way that however the packaging is and stuff. So shall I say, stay tuned for WWF DVD reviews in the later future per sets. Okay, so like I said, we got quite a bit to go through. So let's roll those awesome credits, and we will be back to you shortly. Alright, folks, welcome back. So, the first thing we have here is, well, what can we say? He's the man, if you want to snap it to a Slim Jim, you know who he is. He fought Spider-Man, but on top of that, he was the Macho Man. Yeah, so we've got here the Randy Savage story. So, got loads of great stuff. Like I said, so most of these discs sets are 3 discs apiece, which is great. See, as you could tell, you see that right there? There is a lot of information. So I will not be reading anything, but you guys could definitely take a look at the discs real quick. And like I said, I've got a lot of stuff to go through. So every one of them, what I want to try to do is I want to try to hunt down at least a photo of some sort, or at least take a screen grab of every match that is on these. That way I can show them like up here in the corner or whatever, so that way you guys have a visual aspect of what each one is. Alrighty, we got a whole bunch of them sitting down here on the ground here. Let's pick them up. Okay, so the next one we have here is the best of Saturday night's main event. Yeah, now this was pretty cool though. This was back in the 80s and 90s. And of course, I remember when this was on. Obviously, us growing up in the 80s and 90s definitely watched this type of stuff, obviously. But we got let's see here. That's another 3-disc set which contains at least 30 matches, which is great. And also contains a booklet which needs to go into there. Or can that even be opened? Yes, it can. You know what? Let's put the booklet where it's supposed to go. How about right in there? If it'll fit. I just dropped one. If it'll fit. There we go. Alright, so let's just fix the discs here real quick. So, alrighty, so we've got here the Saturday night main event. There, like I said, there's a booklet there. Like I said, there's quite a bit of information on there, so I will be going through every single one of them later. Alright, so the one that fell, let's fix that real quick. Alright, so then up next, we've got here, what can we say? You know, his catchphrase was, you know, one of the best ever, you know, one of the most quoted, because, you know, he's, you know, what can we say? You know, after he lost in a steel cage match, you know, Vince goes into the ring and interviews him. He's very frustrated. And what can we say? Everyone in that damn dressing room knows that I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Yeah, of course I'm talking about Bret the Hitman Hart, the Dungeon Collection. Now, this is, I think this was from his later, well, it features some of his earlier matches, and there's actually another Bret Hart set that I have sitting around somewhere, or one that I have seen, or that I used to have. But like I said, there is a lot of stuff to go through, and like I said, so here's all the discs, like so. And all of the information is actually back, as you can tell, it's back behind the discs, and we will go through those at a later time. So, yeah, like I said, there's quite a bit. So, all right, so up next, now this guy, what can we say? He was born to controversy. You know, he's the man. You know, what can we say? He chews bubblegum, he kicks ass, and he's all out of bubblegum, right? Of course, I'm talking about none other than the man himself, Roddy Piper. Yeah, loads of great stuff from him. I mean, what can I say though? I mean, if you haven't seen him in They Live, what are you doing? Stop watching this, go watch that, and then watch this. So, but yeah, like I said, then it also comes with a booklet here, which I will read. Like I said, we will go through everything at a later date, and which is kind of cool because it literally has, like I said, 3 discs. So there you go. Alrighty, and then up next, what can we say? This guy, well, every single time his music would kick into gear, that dun 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 dun, that dun dun, you always have to have a drum hit and a cymbal bash, right? Of course, you know, once his music hit, this man would just sprint down to the ring, you know, jump in the ring, start dancing around like crazy. Then, of course, he'd grab the top ring rope and just start doing this and headbanging. Of course, you know him as the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah. Now, this Warrior set, obviously, this is, this is probably one of the best ones that you probably should get. Because not only, the reason why I wanted this one is, well, not just because, you know, he's obviously a great wrestler, but the reason why I love this one is because this literally has on here, his Hall of Fame induction from April 2014, as well as to his final appearance on Monday Night Raw of April 7th, 2014, because sadly that would be the last time we would ever get to see Warrior, which is literally this photo right there. And of course, you know, with us, you know, because those of us who are wrestling history fans would know that Warrior passed away literally just a mere hours after that taping, which was really sad. Literally, like within the following, like less than 12 hours after that was shot, nobody knew. But, anyways, so up next, this guy, what can we say? His opening music is so cool, and you know, and when you hear it, it's just awesome. And of course, you never know if he was ever going to open up that giant bag he would have carrying to the ring with him. Of course, I'm talking about legendary man Jake the Snake Roberts. Oh, yeah. Now, I will say, I wish I had the Blu-ray/DVD of it. I don't, but one day, hopefully, I will. But if you have not watched the resurrection of Jake the Snake, the documentary that they did about his actual resurrection of him seeing DDP and getting literally, brought back to health. It's a very emotional documentary, but oh my god, the amount of hell that this guy went through, and then to see, you watch this, and then you watch that documentary and you just see how down, this man gets, because, obviously he's not wrestling at the time, just how, he's just lonely, and then, obviously he has a friend, DDP, literally rescues his, saves his life, basically, and it's such a huge, just a really great story that you should watch after watching this. That's definitely my recommendation. Alright, then the other DVD we have here, now this one's just more of a single event DVD, but what can we say? It's the one that literally really jump-started WWF into huge mania events. Now, sure, they had one, WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2. Those were pretty good, but this one made history for having the most indoor attendance event ever at the time, and that record held for nearly 2 decades. Just to see if somebody would end up actually body slamming somebody else, you know who it is. But we've got here WrestleMania 3. Yeah, how cool is this? This is awesome. It's literally the whole event, so there you go. Alrighty, so then up next, we've got here, I found, like I said, I found these a good one, but these two were hidden. I don't know why somebody would hide them. Maybe they were trying to wait and get them later, but I kind of found them. So we've got here, I want to take care of these because these are really cool sets. They're all embossed and everything. So we have here the history of the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, this is so cool. And actually has a booklet, which is nice. There you go, this booklet. But I love the fact that they have it's all like that. Look at all that text that I'm gonna have to read. See, that's just on disc 1. But I love the fact that it goes through decades. Disc 1 is the 80s. Disc 2 is the 90s. And then disc 3 is the early 2000s. So yeah, there we go. Like I said, loads of great stuff there. Like I said, we're gonna have a full-on, look at, all of these at a later date. So, all right. So the other one that I found that was hidden, which because I didn't actually find this until I was just getting ready to leave, but I literally found this also. The history of the WWF Championship, as in the World Heavyweight Champion, from 1963 to 2006. Once again, this one's also a lot like the other one, so there you go. How cool is that? So this is also a 3-disc set, and what can we say? This is totally cool. And I love the fact that they still have this old school like book retro style to it, and lots of little fingerprints on here, but that's okay. We can easily wipe those off. And then we have, literally goes all the way up to about, it says 2006, but actually I think the last match goes to like 2005. But one thing though, there you go. One thing though that I love about the Intercontinental Championship set is that it actually has the Good Housekeeping match with China versus Jeff Jarrett. That's one of the cool matches that I love on that. All right, so then up next, this we have here is what the. Yeah, it's those guys. Yep. Is everything in color or is it in black and white? All right, black and white then. Anyways, yeah, so you know it. What can we say? You know, that guitar solo, you know, here it is. It's the 90s. You got competition going. You've got WWF going. Then you have a little thing called WCW going at the same time. You know, see which one was better. But what can we say? You know, not only did it, you know, involve, you know, the Macho Man, involved also Kevin Nash, you know, Scott Hall, you know, literally almost everybody in that organization. We've got the NWO, the Revolution. Yeah, like I said, this is a really awesome set. I'm surprised I found this with the slipcover. Like I said, this is a 3-disc set, and now this is the time when it was really great to be a wrestling fan at the time, because, you know, at this time, not only did you have WWE, but you also had WCW, and then you also had a little tiny company called ECW. So you had 3 different wrestling organizations figuring out which one was the best. Obviously, we all know which one actually won, but still, that is awesome to have. And then finally, last but certainly not least, this goes for a big buttload of money. I probably know why, but, you know, what can I say, though? I mean, he's the man. If it wasn't for him, you know, wrestling wouldn't be what it is today. You know, what can we say? You know, say your prayers, take your vitamins. He has the largest pythons of the world, brother. We've got here the Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Anthology set. How cool is this? So, yeah, like I said, so it's a 3-disc set, like I said, which is great. And absolutely jam-packed with stuff. And, you know, how cool is that? And actually, it's not a 3-disc. This is actually a 4-disc set. So, yeah, like I said, we'll go through everything at a later date. Oh, alrighty. Well, that does it for me for now, guys. So, with that, like, subscribe, hit that notification button, leave a comment down below. And with that, I'll see you next time. See ya.